I believe that every American who wants to participate in our digital economy should be able to do so.
Hey, Ajit.
Pai. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to
Is
meet you.
Chairman Pai? Ajit?
Ajit is fine. Yes,
Ajit's
yeah.
fine?
I've been called plenty of the four-letter words, but Ajit is, I can work with that.
You're a fan of Judge Judy.
I do, yes. It's
Why? Could you explain this to me?
Oh, she's great. She just dispenses this homespun wisdom and resolves actual cases. And my mom and I have been big fans since the 90s. Yeah, it's just great. It's, yeah.
You should be impeached.
Pai's Middle America sensibilities come from having grown up in Middle America. He's the lawyer's son of Indian immigrant doctors who moved to the small town of Parsons, Kansas, and still live there.
You're making some changes, and it's causing a bit of controversy.
So I hear.
Yeah, a little bit of upset. For those who don't know what net neutrality is, if I were to define it based on what your critics say, it would be something like this. Freedom on the internet is now in jeopardy because we're handing over control of the internet to a very few, very large corporations. You know, people can see what the companies want them to see and can't see what the companies don't want them to see. Is that a fair assessment, you think?
I don't think it is for a couple of different reasons. Number one, previous to 2015, we had a free and open internet, and we didn't see that type of conduct happening. Secondly, the concept itself is so amorphous. I mean, it's essentially changed over the years into essentially whatever people want to read into it. And that's why I think you see some of these hyperbolic reactions.
But it's not hyperbolic for businesses that survive and some who make a killing on an internet model where all content providers pay the same price, no matter how much data they use.
The argument on their side is we should be able to charge anybody anything. We're investing. And the problem is cable is nearly a monopoly. Okay, if cable had a lot of competition, it probably wouldn't be a problem.
Netflix. Mm-hmm. Do you watch Netflix?
I do.
Okay. I assume they oppose the rollback of net neutrality regulations.
Correct, yeah.
Why?
Well, I think they argue that they don't want to have internet service providers potentially threatening their ability to have their customers stream content.
Are they just making this up? I mean, it just strikes me that so many of these people are so upset about it, and the volume and the vitriol is so strong that it can't just be for nothing, can it?
Volume and vitriol are not substitutes for actual arguments. And if you look at the facts in the record with good faith, I think that people will recognize that these kinds of hyperbolic fears never materialized prior to 2015. But, I will say, there's a but. Going forward, we recognize that there is a risk here. We don't simply say, hands off, we're out of the business of regulating, period.
I'm gonna read a tweet to you. From Keith Olbermann, former television host from MSNBC, a tweet to you. You will go down in history as one of the destroyers of free speech, of free press, and the First Amendment. To hell with you and your fellow fascists.
Wow.
What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, obviously coming from somebody who defends the right of people to have different points of view, I think I give it a lot of credence.
I mean, everyone says this is a free speech issue. Ajit Pai is the destroyer of free speech.
It's very odd to say that getting the government out of the business of regulating the internet is somehow destroying free speech, point number one. Point number two, a lot of the people who are saying things like that, and I would include that tweet among them, are the last to defend the pluralistic nature of American discourse.
But the predictably snarky Twitter discourse has given way to more serious threats.
Has it all been worth it in the sense that this has really affected your life?
It's not been easy. I've been advised by law enforcement not to disclose too many details about what's going on, but I think what has been publicly reported is that there have been threats against me and my wife and my kids, including in our neighborhood, and it's not pleasant.
The racist insults.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people on both sides. Some people say, go back to India or wherever it is you came from. I get those regularly.
Kansas, but that's where you're from. But it's on both sides. People saying,
yeah, he's not a real Indian American. The Indian community disavows him. He's just a sellout and that sort of stuff. And look, to me, as I said, I understand that public policy is always fraught with passion. My perhaps naive hope is that we still reclaim some part of the public square where people can disagree agreeably. If you look at the online discourse, it's obviously less focused on the facts and more focused on how many zings can I get in 280 characters.
Do you worry that the president is not leading by example on this?
I mean, I don't make any comments about the president's Twitter feed or whatever. That's for other people to decide.
He does all the things you just described.
That's some people can have that argument, and I'm focused on, again, this proceeding and generally speaking, trying to conduct ourselves based on the facts and the law.